Sent from Disneyland, history in our hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Bill Dreffel, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, Patty Wolin, Ben and Noel Bruning, and Greg Gorley. B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has a view of the Matterhorn from the waterfall area of the submarine lagoon. You can see monorail yellow passing over a gray submarine, and if you look closely, you can see Skyway buckets gliding from Tomorrowland to Fantasyland. On the back it reads, "Previewing the future of transportation, the first complete monorail system in the United States carries guests over the submarine lagoon and around the Disneyland Matterhorn mountain, climbing steep grades and racing around sharp curves. The Disneyland all-wake monorail trains run over a concrete highway in the sky." It's postmarked January 30th, 1965, with an Anaheim cancel and a 5-cent black and white George Washington postage stamp, Scott number 1213. I assume they visit the park on Friday, January 29th, 1965, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The weather was a high of 78 and a low of 43. Park attendance that day was 6,449. It's addressed to the Eckards of Los Altos Hills, California. It reads, "Friday. Hi, it's me again. We drove around LA this morning and saw Griffith Observatory. We could see all over LA from there. We've been here at Disneyland all day. We're having such fun. We'll go to Marineland now and Knott's Berry. Marcia." Last year I received a book titled The Spirit of Disneyland as a gift. This episode, let's look at some of the highlights from this unique addition to my library. This 58-page book was not sold to guests at the park, but was a special gift given to cast members, VIPs, and special guests attending a 30th anniversary party for Disneyland. Originally, it was presented in a gold-tone envelope with the image of Walt Disney walking with Sleeping Beauty Castle and Main Street behind him. The same image is on the cover of the book, which also has a goldish-brown cover. Above the photo is written, "The Spirit of" in black curvy script, and Disneyland in white in the classic Gothic font. There is no table of contents, but the book is broken into 4 sections, which all have title pages. The 4 sections are, "Here You Leave Today and Enter the World of Yesterday, Tomorrow, and Fantasy," "The Disneyland Dream," "The Dream is a Reality," and "Words from Walt." The first section is 8 pages of the history of Walt. Each page includes a few individual segments with stories of Walt's early years through his time in Hollywood and up to the start of Disneyland. Above the short articles are black and white photos. My favorite section is titled The Post Office Life. It describes Walt's brief career as a letter carrier in Chicago. It also includes the quote about his brother who continued to be a postal worker. The quote of Walt saying, "I think he was the smart Disney," which is part of the new presentation at Walt Disney A Magical Life in the Opera House. It came from a 1963 Canadian broadcast interview. Another interesting section has the heading, "The Name Walt Disney." This brings up the alternative professional names Walt might have used, including Walter Disney, W.E. Disney, or Walter Elias Disney. The second section of the book, The Disneyland Dream, is the largest section and covers the concept of Disneyland through to the construction of the park. The center of this section has a reproduction of a 7-page dossier of the concept of Disneyland that Walt and Roy used to bring to investors for the project. The The book suggests taking note of what is listed in the pages that never made it into the park. The third page lists mail order catalog that guests could use to order anything they wanted from the Main Street Emporium or anywhere in Disneyland. It reads, "If you want a real pony and cart or a miniature donkey 30 inches high, you'll find it in the catalog. Or, if you want the latest Disney book or toy, you can order it by mail, and the gift will arrive wrapped in a special Disneyland paper bearing the postmark Disneyland, California, direct from the Disneyland U.S. Post Office." This section of the book is a great companion piece to the film Disneyland Handcrafted. One article mentions the last 100 days of construction, and that 1955 was the wettest year in Disneyland history for that area. Every day of rain was one less day of work towards the completion of the park. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following the EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to enfieldpost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and enfieldpost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has Town Square. You can see the omnibus, the red motor car, and the horse-drawn streetcar heading down Main Street. If you look closely in the lower right, you can see Pluto and Goofy greeting guests. On the back it reads, Town Square, Main Street. Main Street's Town Square represents the typical small town in the early 1900s, where the gas lamp is gradually being replaced by electricity, and the plodding horse-drawn streetcar is giving way to the chugging horseless carriage. It's postmarked February 5th, 1969, with an Edgewater cancel and a 10-cent red airmail with stars postage stamp. Scott number C72. I assume they visited the park on Wednesday, February 5th, 1969, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The weather was a high of 62 and a low of 50, with 0.32 inches of precipitation. It's addressed to Mr. and Mrs. G.W. Snyder of Portsmouth, Virginia. It reads, "Hi, been here 3 times now. You would truly enjoy this very much. You should try to come out to see it. Letter will follow. Roy." Moving to the third section of the book, it almost reads like an instruction manual or a training guide for cast members. It includes sections on each land of the park and mentions them as stages, and referencing the Esplanade as the outer lobby, the main gate as the inner lobby, and the 2 tunnels to Main Street as the stage curtains. There's a subsection in this part of the book that talks about the pioneering years, mostly about the first year's struggle with financial stability on the new project. The last half of the Disneyland Dream section has articles about keeping the park a happy place to visit, with smiles on the faces of cast members as well as guests. There's also the entire speech given by Dick Nunis to key executives of Tokyo Disneyland about the quality Walt wanted for the park, with the story about the Jungle Cruise. This is followed with more articles that could easily be part of cast member traditions training. The last section of the book, Words from Walt, is filled with quotes from Walt Disney. These quotes center around entertainment, to Disneyland, to ideas, to family, and of course, Mickey Mouse. The last image of the book is Walt holding the reins of the fire wagon that is now in the fire department building on Main Street, USA. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has a hand-painted geometric drawing of Mickey Mouse. It's postmarked January 30th, 2026, with the St. Paul, Minnesota Love Pictorial Cancel and a Sassafras Forever postcard postage stamp. Scott number 5972. It reads, January 24th, 2026. Dear Clocky, thank you so much for your holiday postcard and congratulations on your second podcast, which is a treat to watch on YouTube. Growing up, I visited Disney World often as family lived nearby. I hope that I can find photos from those trips, 1980s and early 90s. Thanks for sparking my curiosity. Wishing you the very best, Justin, at Cruder MD. Thank you so much for the postcard, Justin. I'm glad the new podcast, Photo Nix, has got you looking through past vacation photos. It certainly is fun to look at some of the details we can see. It's a toss-up every episode to be excited to see what was there at Disneyland or what is still there and has lasted the test of time. I also love getting a postcard from an Art Throwdown friend. This hand-painted card is an amazing little piece of art, and I'm impressed by how well it made it through the sorting machines without any visible damage, although sometimes a misplaced postmark adds a little character. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Sent from Disneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell, theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.